the end of the day, Gastak.
This
Horse.
week's Heat of the Week will be hosted by Stephen Gerrard and Jamie Carragher.
Yeah, horse. Alright, mate. Welcome to Heat of the Week.
Oh, I don't know if it's Ricky or Ellie editing this, but I'm leaving this in my recording.
Yeah, please keep this in.
Alright, let's get this done.
Cool.
Hello, PPL fans, and welcome to Heat of the Week for Week 4. I'm Shroomraver, he's OnesieBanette, and my goodness, some things happened this week, didn't they?
Oh, you forgot to talk about the stuff that also happened.
Some stuff as well. Last week we did say that we were expecting a little sort of downgrade in the amount of heat with the mid-season coming up and people getting settled into their teams and using more normal quote-unquote sets, and boy howdy did our coaches prove us wrong.
You were wrong, the Fat Controller.
Oh, yes, in a big way. There's we had some pretty fantastic sets, so much so that number 3 in our list this week is going to be a tie. We couldn't decide between ourselves. I was going one way, At's going another. We split 50-50, so we're going to include them both because we can.
That's a thing we can do on this channel.
Yes, exactly. We absolutely can. Do you want to take the first one that we're going to be putting at number 3 this week?
Absolutely. So this was something that impressed me a lot, and we'll talk about the reasons why we couldn't decide and the reasons for both. And I can see Dave's point of view for his, but for me, my number 3... I love saying that, it's like we completely split it. My number 3 for this week is going to be the Vancouver Titans and an Endure Salakberry Destiny Bond Haunter. And I thought this was very, very clever because Jack's win condition in this game was that he had 2 different win conditions. He had an Enamorous that had just basically smashed everything with Stab Moonblast, and he had a Scarf Decidueye, which would absolutely rip through once the Goldengo's gone. You can just spam its grass move, it can get free unresisted U-turns going off, and all that was standing in the way of those 2 doing things was getting rid of the Goldengo. Now, I'm not sure if the Goldengo was the initial target that Jack had in mind for this Endure Salakberry Haunter, but what happened was, basically, he switches this Haunter in on a basically an Espeon that had Terrored Fairy, bluffs the Scarf beautifully to get, well, I say bluffs the Scarf, he did click Endure on that turn, so basically SK switched out, fearing the Scarf, into the Goldengo, and then outspeeding the Goldengo, Jack clicks Destiny Bond, and yeah, Goldengo goes down, and it does manage to open up a path to victory for Jack if he could utilise his Enamorous and his Decidueye very well. Unfortunately, didn't quite go that way. SK made some very good plays, and that Espeon that I mentioned put in a lot of work once it came back in. Jack's game plan didn't quite go to plan this week. He led off with a Hazard Stacking Mew, didn't expect SK to bring the Magic Bounce Espeon, which just completely countered his strategy, and he was on the back foot from the start, but at least this Haunter set managed to even the game back up at 5-5 using a little bit of memes, and managed to at least give Jack a chance to regain a foothold and some momentum in the match. So on another day, could very well have gone in his favour, and that's why I think that bringing a Haunter, a very low tier mon, to a game that's this important and using it effectively and basically resetting the game state with it, I thought was very, very clever on Jack's end. So yeah, it's my number 3.
Yeah, I mean, I can agree with it deserving a place on this list. We always like seeing kind of Destiny Bond shenanigans, and like I say, I'm not sure whether Goldengo was his intended target for this strat to go off, but I think I saw in both videos, both coaches were saying like, oh, I'll take that trade. I think Jack probably got more out of the trade. Goldengo, massive threat, not to sleep on Haunter, but I think Jack would have been happy to get that trade. Unfortunately, his matchup wasn't fantastic. He took some early hits very, very early on in the game, which kind of put him on the back foot, like you said. But it was nice to see this nice little sacrificial Haunter play work out. Might have been higher on the list were it not to be overshadowed by something that we'll get into a little bit later.
Oh yes, indeed we will. Now, why don't you tell the people about what your number 3 pick for this week was?
Yes, my number 3 pick for this week is going to be Addison's London Shockwave, taking on Mountaih's Immunity Idols and the red card Endure King Gambit play. Now, Addison was rightly scared of a potential Sir Titan sweep, and Mountaih did indeed bring the sub belly drum set with stab priority ice shard with the earthquake. It was looking to be a very, very dangerous set, and he got it set up quite early with the snowy. Is it snow now, or is it actually hail? I think it's snow.
They got rid of hail. They made it snow.
Yeah,
good old snowscape. But
he had snowscape up with Sir Titan in, fully set up with the sub. It was all looking very good for Mountaih. And then Addison, hard switching into the King Gambit, goes for Endure to guarantee living that earthquake, and then the red card goes off, getting that Sir Titan out of there. And at that stage, it was looking like it could well have been a 6-0 sweep for Mountaih. But Addison put in an excellent play to prevent that, and I really have to say I enjoyed the text on the screen with her nickname for King Gambit. Power Bottom braced itself, and then Power Bottom endured the hit. Big fan of that.
I mean, what else is there to say about that? That's glorious.
Yeah.
Oh, dearie me. I think the difference between both of our mindsets here, and the reason why because I can absolutely admit that it's a very, very good piece of tech that's brought on a very important time and executed basically exactly as Addison said. I think the only reason I wasn't fully won over is just because King Gambit is King Gambit. It's basically an Ubermon in passing. Like, it's an Ubermon in waiting. It's a very, very strong Pokemon. It's shown what it can do in OU, and it's a very, very big threat in Draft League as well, whereas Haunter is a Haunter. So while I can understand that Addison 100% played that strategy perfectly as she intended to, whereas Jack didn't, I think that's what levels it for me, but I can 100% see where you're coming from.
Yeah, we sort of had to weigh up the unlikeliness of the hero versus the severity of the situation. And yeah, we came to the decision that we wanted to do both of them at 3, because they both deserve it, and that's something we can do.
Yes, it is.
But yes, that's going to be our shared number 3. Moving on to number 2, and straight in his first game, taking over Kelly's team, it's going to be Uzi and the Bullet Punch Club, who are taking on Drew's New York Marauders, and it's the sub-disable Ceruledge. Do you want to take this?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. So I've had a lot of contact with Uzi over the past sort of week. I obviously did his coach interview. I helped him set up his game, the competition. Taught him through how to gen Mons. Oh wait, sorry, we don't gen, we breed.
We breed Mons here.
Of course we do. They're onto us. But yes, I've had a lot of contact with Uzi, and I've seen a lot of his old clips, and I for one was absolutely ecstatic when I found out he was going to be returning. He's one of my favourite Draft League coaches of all time. I've known the guy for ages. He's such a positive, cheery character, and the guy was like an excited little puppy to get back into the format. And in his first game back, he pulls out a sub-disable Ceruledge. Now, this was very, very impressive, because basically it's not only a sub-disable Ceruledge. It also had your favourite thing in the world. Oh yes. Unstabbed dragon coverage.
We love unstabbed dragon coverage in this house.
We do indeed. It is a PPL staple, being ran on many different mons. It's a bit of a meme, but we love it. And in this sense, Uzi has came in and embraced the PPL with this meme. But basically, it was very, very clever. It was used late game, basically disabling the Torkoal's Earth Power to hard wall it, basically just completely shutting that thing down, allowing it to just do what it needed to do late game. And as we know in this game, Uzi managed to pull out a very dominating 5-0 victory here, which is very impressive when you're up against one of the scariest teams on paper with that Sun team and Drew, who can pilot it very, very well. So to come in your first game, pull off a sub-disable Ceruledge to that caliber, and do it against a very, very good opponent with a very scary team, I think that is very... Especially, it's not even his team at this point. It's a team that he didn't even draft. He came in, 5-0 victory, did a meme, did one of our favourite things in the world, and then went, yep, cool. So that's why he's my number 2.
Yeah, very much agreed. Excellent timing on Uzie's part to pull this off as well. Throwing out a sub against the Torkoal, knowing the Earth Power's coming in, gets the disable off, immune to Torkoal's stab, and of course to the rapid spin that was up there as well, which means he knows I now have a free sub. He can literally not touch me, and in doing so forced Drew to go into the Walking Wake as the best and possibly one of the only things to break that substitute consistently. And that's where the unstabbed Dragon coverage Dragonclaw comes from. There for the Walking Wake. It was just a very, very nice build. And as Uzie said, it was his ace in the hole and then his second ace in the hole on one set. Really well executed late game, takes out the threat, neutralises it, and paves the way for him to come in and take the win on his debut with this team. Fully expecting more from Uzie in that regard.
Absolutely. What I will say though, had it not been for our number 1 pick this week, this could quite easily have been number 1 in many of the other episodes of this series we've had on this channel so far. This was a very, very competent bring, very well executed meme as well, because unstabbed dragon coverage, while it does have a function, it's unstabbed dragon coverage.
Yeah.
It's a very well executed build, and the whole scenario surrounding Uzie's entry into the league is just brilliant, and it's a great story. It deserves to be told. But it's not quite good enough for number 1 this week.
It is not quite. Before we get there, we do, of course, as always, have some honourable mentions. Coming up first, Ellie and the Shanghai Dragons versus Mephisto's Jinx niece in one of the great series of videos in terms of role-playing. Very much enjoying Ellie taking on Mephisto in that regard. But Yachi Berry Rotom Wash, which is not something you see every day, specifically there to help wall out a very dangerous iron bundle and take that freeze dry, which it did, which was nice to see. We love seeing a Yachi Berry to weaken a water type attack. Sorry, an ice type attack.
Yes.
On a water type Pokemon. Very impressive. Love to see that.
We got there in the end.
We did.
Yes, and the other honourable mention this week, I believe, comes from the match between Jay and, as you've put in your notes, Nexus.
Nexus.
That's
yes,
not intentional, I assume.
No, I do not think he sucks. Nexus is a fantastic person, and I just can't spell.
Oh, that's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. But yes, this game did indeed have something very fun, something very true to my own heart. It had a Specs Wigglytuff. I've used Wigglytuff in a bunch of different leagues, and that thing hits surprisingly hard if you put investment into it. And with its coverage, obviously it doesn't really touch steel types at all, but it's still a Specs Wigglytuff. So on another day, this would also have been included, but not today.
Yeah,
not
unfortunately didn't make too much of an appearance for Jay. But it's always nice to see. We love a Specs Wigglytuff. We love an unexpected Specs Mon. We talked about Screamtail earlier on in the season, and now we have Wigglytuff. So more of those, please, coaches. We love them.
So we've had Specs Paradox Jigglypuff and Specs Wigglytuff. Now we just need someone to drop something, pick up Igglybuff, and bring that with the Specs.
I wouldn't put it past some of our coaches, I'll be honest. I could see that happening, and I would love it.
Addison, I'm calling you out. That's what you got to do.
Yes. Make it happen, Addison. We believe in you. But coming around to number 1 in this week's list, and I'm pretty sure everybody could see this coming a mile away, because it's not going to just one Mon. It's going to an entire team and a coach. It is going this week to pokeaim's LA Wakers versus MV and his San Diego Chim Chargers. A game that was massively hyped up from the start. Joey versus MV was always going to be great. And Joey didn't disappoint with what I've listed as an entire sacrifice team. So, to take you through what we've got here, Joey had a plan going into this, one singular plan, and it was all about the execution. Leading off with Sash Heatran. Plan there, go for a flame charge if needs be, get up rocks, get brought down to the sash and go for Steel Beam. Big amount of damage, takes itself out. This worked flawlessly. Next, in comes the dual screens Lunar Dance Cresselia, meant to get those screens up for as long as possible and chip down the big threat that would come in to deal with it, Ursulana. This happened. Lunar
Try
Dance.
that again.
Ursuluna.
There you go.
I will get it right first time one day, I promise. I promise I will. Ursuluna. I will do it. Either way, this happened. And down goes the Cresselia. After, I believe, Delphox had got some chip damage here and there as well. But then in comes the real good stuff. In comes Scarfed Annihilate. A big threat, as we all know. Facing down... what was it facing down? It was facing down... I can't remember exactly what. But in comes the Dunsparce, Terra Flying, switches in to try and deal with the Annihilate, who is max HP and goes for Final Gambit, which clean takes out the Dunsparce and the Annihilate. Down goes Annihilate. Next in is going to come the Hisuian Samurott, scarfed with Copycat. Facing down a Zapdos, it outspeeds, Copycat's the Final Gambit, takes them both out. Next in comes the Delphox, scarfed with Copycat. Now at this point, Envy has cottoned on to what is happening. It's just a little too late to prevent it. So he sacks off... I can't remember exactly what it was he sacked off to it in the moment. I think it was the Quaquaval that was sacked off at that point.
Yes,
it was
Quaquaval.
It was. Brings in the Quaquaval to take the scarfed, copycatted third Final Gambit. And now it's down to a 3-on-1 and Joey can bring in the mon he's put all his money on, the Quick Draw, Quick Claw, Slowbro.
Quick Bro, baby.
Quick Bro comes in, screens are still up because this has moved so quickly. And he's able, with the last remaining bits of Reflect, to get up a nasty plot, and then Quick Draw through to take out the Ursaluna with Grass Knot. Takes a hit from... who was even in next?
I think it might have been a hit from the Ursaluna, actually. I think it got a crunch off.
Did take some hits here and there. Oh, the Goodra as well got a hit off, but then was taken out by Psyshock, and then the Quick Draw kicked in to take out the final remaining Pokemon for Envy, the Meowscarada.
Masquerada was first, I think. The Quick Draw activates against the Meowscarada, Slowbro kills that, and then Goodra comes in because Envy wasn't sure if it would live a hit after or take it out afterwards, and the Psyshock does manage to kill the Goodra. So he got 2 Quick Draw activations, one to get the extra hit on the Ursaluna, and then one to take out the Meowscarada from full. I believe Envy's reasoning for going Meowscarada first, because after the game they did a little bit of a chat back and forth. I think Envy's reasoning was that he didn't know if the stab knockoff would have killed from the range it was at without Reflect, and he was trying to get rid of the Quick Claw to lower the odds in Joey's favour to down to like 30% from 44%. So there was a little bit of gambling going on that side. Unfortunately, Envy lost at the wrong time. Yeah,
this was one of the finest displays of organised memeing that I have seen in Draft League.
Memeing.
I've been playing Draft League on and off for 8 years and doing a fair amount of this kind of analysis in several leagues as well. This is the finest example I think I've ever seen. Joey had one plan, and he outlined it, and he said exactly what he was going to do, and he executed it flawlessly. And in doing so, I think this might be the first time ever in Draft League. Now, there are going to be people out there who've watched other ones than me, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this might be the first time ever in Draft League where one coach has got 11 KOs, because Joey took out all his own Pokemon.
Of course, nowadays, in Generation 9, with Revival Blessing, it may be possible to get more, but I don't think I've ever seen a scenario where 11 kills have been credited to one coach. No. I mean, Envy's entire... I looked at the results screen in the PPL Discord, and basically, all it said was KO'd itself, KO'd itself, KO'd itself, KO'd itself. And
Yeah.
that was the funniest thing in the entire world. Now, in the PPL fan server, Joey did pop in just after his game and did put one solemn little message, one tiny little snippet saying, "I'm going to win Heat of the Week this week."
Yeah.
And after seeing what happened, sir, you didn't just win Heat of the Week. Your team or a specific set didn't win Heat of the Week. This week's Heat of the Week winner is Joey.
Yeah.
Joey is the mom.
Yeah.
Like, nothing more to say about that. That is just incredible.
I mean, it was like I said, it was a magnificent display of a single plan to take out a single coach, and it's been done. It's been executed flawlessly. I cannot commend you enough, Joey, for what you have displayed, because that was fantastic, and I think Envy would be one of the first to agree as well that it was a thing of beauty.
I think the best part about this was, as I mentioned, they went in a call afterwards, and as soon as the call starts, all you can hear is Joey laughing, and Envy just goes, "Bro."
Yeah.
Bro. And then he wasn't even mad.
No.
You can't be mad after losing to that.
No, not at all. Not at all. It was beautifully done. Hats off to Joey for showing us that. That's the kind of thing that works once a season, I think. And
once every 5 seasons,
yeah,
or 10 at most.
quite possibly. But very happy to have been here to see it. That was brilliant, and a very, very deserving winner of this week's Heat of the Week. So congratulations to you, Joey, for that.
Absolutely. So if you guys disagree, which, if you do disagree, what's wrong with you? If you disagree with who won this week on Heat of the Week, let us know down in the comments. Did something happen in one of the other games that we didn't mention here? Let us know as well. We love responding. We respond to basically every comment that comes in these videos. We love talking about this with you guys, and yeah, we're looking forward to see what you have to say about this week.
Yeah, 100%. Let us know what you think. We love to see you guys interacting and saying your views on things. But yeah, and if you think there is anything that beat that this week, we would love to hear your reasoning. Very much so, because I think it's going to be tough for anyone this week or even this season to beat that. So there's the challenge laid down to the other coaches. Can you beat that? I believe in you. I believe in you all of you. You've got this.
Maybe not Jack, but the rest, yeah, you'll find. I love you, Jack. I love you.
We love you very much, Jack, as we do all our coaches. But yes, that is going to wrap things up. A bit of a longer one this time, a lot to have talked about. But that is going to wrap it up from us for this week. So thank you all very much for watching. Do hope that you enjoyed. And yeah, with that, we will see you on the next one. Laters.